This is Julie Hogue with the Vegetarians and Meat Lovers Split Table Recipes podcast, where I podcast about food, cooking for a group of people, a family, or group of people, party, where there's more than one diet, specifically vegetarian and meat eaters, which is my family. I'm the vegetarian. The rest of my family eats meat. So I've kind of developed this hybrid way of cooking and making food so I don't end up being a short order cook. Today, however, I'm doing a recipe that will work for meat eaters and non-meat eaters because it's mushrooms. And this is a scrumptious dish. And my middle son, who is a huge fan of mushrooms, asks for this all the time. And I'm going to give you two ways to make this, the easy way and the harder way. You can pick which one you want to do. So these are Crockpot mushrooms, and they really have no other kind of fancy term or title. That's what they are, and that's just how it is. You can add in some words if you want. So I'm going to give you the easy way first, okay? So I use the Costco pack of mushrooms, where it's like the multi-pack of all different kinds of gourmet mushrooms. And I use 2 packs. And often I will add in more, like the white mushrooms or Bella. Now, the key to this is you don't always have to have the same amount of mushrooms. That is kind of variable. If you only have the 2 gourmet packs of all the unusual mushrooms that you don't really find anywhere else, but I find them at Costco, that's fine. You can add more in or not. So you're going to end up with way too much butter. They're going to get cooked in a boatload of butter, baby. But the way to do this is a slotted spoon. So when you're scooping out your mushrooms to eat them and put them on your plate, put them on your pasta, whatever you're going to do, just use a slotted spoon. Then you won't take all that butter to your plate. Yes, it's getting bathed and soaked and cooked in loads and loads of butter. You don't have to put that on your plate, baby. Just scoop them out. Okay, so this is easy. This is Crockpot, right? Crockpot stuff is great. This is a really great thing when you're having a party, appetizers, or if you even want to add it to like pasta or something or a side. We've done it when we were doing grilling steaks, and it was like the mushrooms on the side or mushrooms on the steak, however you happen to like it. So here's the easy way, okay? 2 of those mushroom packs from Costco. And then you're going to need 2 sticks of melted butter and 1 packet of dry ranch dressing and 1 packet of Italian dry dressing mix. They're in a packet. So you're not using the liquid form of these. And literally that's it. I'm serious. That's it. I usually melt the butter first, like in the microwave, and then I pour that into the crock pot, and then I stir in the dressing packets, like with a whisk or a spoon or whatever you want to do, and then put the mushrooms in, and you let it sit. You just let it sit there on high for 1.5 to 2 hours until they look cooked. That's all you do. Literally, that's it. And now, this is the longer way. And I'll tell you how I had to do the longer way one time is because I accidentally used that Italian dry dressing mix to make potatoes, which are a great seasoning for roasted potatoes. But then I was in a big quandary. I'm like, okay, I have this planned, and now I have no dry Italian dressing mix. So I went about making up my own. Okay, so now here's the long recipe. 2 of those multi-packs of the multi-gourmet mushrooms from Costco, or you can just use all white mushrooms. You can pick. I mean, the kind of mushrooms really doesn't matter. 2 sticks of melted butter. Now, I did have 1 packet of ranch dressing, so I used that. And then I went into bringing all the components in for making the Italian dressing mix. So that I used 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 2 cloves of minced garlic, 1/2 teaspoon onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon dried oregano leaves, 1/2 teaspoon dried thyme leaves, 1 teaspoon Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon black pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon sea salt. So you can either take the stems off the mushrooms or not. Up to you. I've done it both ways. And then you're going to add your melted butter to, if you're doing the 2 ones, you probably want 2 containers of mushrooms. You probably want to use a bigger crock pot. Of course, you can cut it in half and do a small one. Then you cut everything in half. And then you're going to add all your seasonings and your dry ranch dressing mix, and you stir that up so that it gets all mixed into the butter. And you're going to put your mushrooms in there, and you're going to stir to coat them. So, and I don't think I mentioned that in the first part. You have to stir it. That's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? Right? So then you stir it, and then it sits on high for an hour and a half to 2 hours. You could do low for longer if you prefer. I have done that on occasion when I'm going to do it for like 4 hours or something. But it's up to you. It also works when you do it on high for an hour and a half to 2. And again, use that slotted spoon, baby. You don't need to put all that butter on your plate. You can leave it in the crock pot. Just use a slotted spoon or even a big fork. You got a big fork? That works too. So this is a great appetizer. This is a great side dish. This is a great on top of pasta addition. Super yummy. And they're really good leftover too. So it's a good deal. They're great for a party. They're great for New Year's Eve. They're great for any kind of party or any kind of dish. I love that you can just like mix it all up and let it sit in true crock pot fashion, baby. This is great. You add it all in there and you say, bye-bye, go do the rest of the stuff you got to do. And it does the work for you like a true crock pot recipe. They're lovely, aren't they? Well, that's it. That's all there is to it. There's nothing else to say other than have a happy new year. And I hope you're having a great one. I hope you had a great year. And yay to moving into a new year. We're going to have great, fabulous things, right? We're going to have a positive focus. And we're going to make 2026 way better than 2025. And don't forget to check down the podcast show notes where I have links to my cookbook, One Dish, Two Diets, where I have some ideas of how you can cook this way. And of course, all on my podcast, I have all these different ideas how you can cook in a hybrid way and for a split table. And I also have a quiche cookbook that has a bunch of stuff in there where you can make hybrid recipes for breakfast quiches. And some are like for a group. And then there's some in there for like a single if you're doing a smaller amount of cooking. But I tend to love to cook big, even if the kids are all busy, because we are loving those leftovers, baby, because you don't have to cook. You scoop it out, you put it on your plate, and you are good to go with a meal already. So I tend to still like to cook big, even if the kids aren't all home. If they're all off doing their things, I still do it because they come home and they're like, oh, we have any leftovers? And then I can say, yes, we do in the fridge. Check it out. I label things a lot in the fridge. Do you do that? I take a piece of masking tape, and I'll say, meatless quiche, meat-containing quiche, so that everybody knows when they're going to look for their leftovers what's what. Because otherwise you look in there and all these containers, and who knows what's in there. And you can't always tell by looking at it, right? So this is a good way to do it. And so what's been going on with us? Let's see, my son and my husband went up north fishing, Lake of the Woods. They went ice fishing, and they're coming back very soon. And so they had a great time. We had a great Christmas. It was a wonderful time. So much good food. So much. Oh, I made this. I don't know if I've talked about this yet. I can't remember. But the aged Gouda mac and cheese. Woo, baby, that is so good. I'm gonna have to bring that on here. I mean, I made it on Christmas Eve it's Christmas Day, and my husband made prime rib for the very first time. The kids all enjoyed that. But I actually made this mushrooms that I'm talking about now, and we also had the Gouda, the aged Gouda mac and cheese. Oh, that is so good. I need to share that with you all. That's coming real soon. Yeah. So we are in the cold weather in Minnesota, and we got snow. We got lots of snow, and it's even snowing again today. We're not doubting that we're in Minnesota today because there's a lot of snow. It all just fell, and there's more lightly coming down today. So we are not doubting where we live by any means at all. Well, you have an amazing New Year's, and I hope you have a wonderful start to the new year. One tradition we always do, and I'll mention this quickly before we go, when my kids were younger, we always used to watch those parades on TV, like started with the Thanksgiving Day Parade, right? The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And then the New Year's Day parades, like the Orange Bowl and the Rose Bowl. So the kids would wake up and we'd have cinnamon rolls with watching the parade. And it's just so funny to me how we still carry that on. Even though my kids are all teenage and older, we still carry this cinnamon roll tradition on. And it's super fun. Food traditions are fun, right? They just carry so many memories for us. And in our brains, my kids are always like, well, we're having cinnamon rolls, right? Like it's just the thing. It's what you do. All right. You have an amazing day and you take care. Come back again. And I hope you enjoy the mushrooms. The simple name, Crockpot Mushrooms, does not do it justice. It's way better than that little simple name. All right. Enjoy. Bye-bye now.